What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Turn on the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at WillPod11 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. TOJ Pod, TOJ Talks, all 32. Everyone knows the deal. Quick, probably honestly, like 6-7 minutes. Just figured kind of do this in podcast form as opposed to just posting this on Twitter. We're about 27 hours out from the first round of the NFL draft weekend as a whole. We'll have you covered from like a Badlands perspective. Me, Joe, PK, I'm sure Dan and Meegs and everybody will potentially hop in there tomorrow night, live stream on Thursday night. Friday night, I believe there's a live stream, and Joe and Connor pod, and me, PK, Meegs, Dan, the whole gang will react to day one and day two. Saturday, same deal. So we'll have you plenty covered there. War Room and a great pod from Joe and Connor from this morning. Later tonight, me, Meegs, DA, and Dan will be doing a full first round mock. But just wanted to hop on here real quick, just some kind of thoughts going into tomorrow. Obviously, this is a time, in during the draft process where leaks are abundant. Fake leaks are very much abundant. People want certain information out there, whether it's to be trading up, to trade back. They want a player to fall. They want to, whatever they want to do, maybe try to manipulate the board to what works best for them. Look, these guys, nothing's changing now in terms of players and their evals and different things like that. This is more of, hey, if this guy's on the board, we're going to want to move up here. Would you be interested in doing a deal? I know you guys don't have as many picks. Let's trade back. Or, hey, we want to move up for this guy. What's it going to take? Those conversations have been had to an extent, but they'll be, obviously, Mike Tannenbaum tells the famous story about with Revis, where he had an agreement in principle with Carolina. If Revis was on the board, they'd be trading up. The deal was hammered out already. There's no details. Hey, don't screw us over and charge us more. But in good faith, if Revis is on the board, we're taking him. Obviously, we saw that happen. So going into tomorrow night, I would expect Tyler Warren to be a Jet. It's been the case for some time, I feel like. He's a guy who you kind of always go back to this. I think Paul and Joe mentioned this in a pod with, three of us, maybe, 4 or 5 months ago. Always be weary a little bit of the, hey, this guy was amazing. We wanted him at 7. All draft process, all be playoff time and the whole thing. And then the deeper you get in the process, you talk yourself out of that prospect. You talk yourself into Jahdae Barron, or you talk yourself into, I don't know, pick your name at 7. Mykel Williams, whatever it may be. I'd be just a little bit weary of that. I think, from the beginning, it's been tackle, Tyler Warren, and Mason Graham. I've pushed Jalen Walker a million times, but again, just as a general statement, like it's been edge rusher, tackle, Warren, and obviously potentially, a guy like Mason Graham. So that still kind of holds true to me. I still don't think you go defense. I believe the Jets will go offense. I believe pretty strongly they'll go Tyler Warren. I've been surprised before, but I feel pretty good about Warren being the pick at 7. Obviously took a visit with the Jets, as I mentioned. It was a little bit under the radar, but if you listen to this podcast, you heard that here. A couple of weeks back, maybe 3 weeks ago, roommates with Olu in college. Brother lives in the city, wants to be a Jet, wants the shocky comparisons from Connor. There's a million other comps, out there. Max did a good job, obviously, with the George Kittle comp, different things like that. Like, I think Warren would be an impact player here. I think he would be a really solid number 2 option in the passing game. I think he would help their run game. I think he would help their culture. To me, does he get some production from screens? Yeah. And guess what? He scores fucking touchdowns. So that's not going to change. Him being a yak guy, like those things translate to the NFL. If you can make guys miss and run people over and do these different things, I'm not bothered by a guy that had a breakout year. It's not like he was a bad player. He was going to be a day 2 pick if this was 12 months ago. He's also behind, for the first couple of years of college, 2 guys that are starters in the NFL at the position. So it's not as if he was some scrub that all of a sudden in the 5th year of college basketball had a March Madness run and you draft him 7th overall. This is the NFL. Very different. If you look at the average age of prospects right now, because of NIL, guys stay in school longer. Like, it's much more normal for these different things to happen. So I say that just to say, like, I wouldn't kind of like freak out if they take a tight end at 7. Kyle Brady has nothing to do with Tyler Warren because the Jets also took a tight end in the first round, Dustin Keller, who's a pretty damn good player. These things happen. Again, I understand it's not edge rusher, quarterback, offensive tackle. So you think premium position. Yeah, tight end's not the most premier position, but in certain offenses and in the Chiefs, the San Francisco 49ers, other teams like that, where the Baltimore Ravens that have been 1 seeds, 1 Super Bowls with the tight end being their primary option in the passing game, as of right now, he'd be their third best option in the passing game. So if they don't go Warren, I think next most likely would be an Armand Membu. If he's there, I believe he'll be a Raider. Kelvin Banks, potentially a Jaguar. I know they like him at guard, but there's some interest there at 5. I think they'll still go Genty, but there's a possibility maybe a trade up with with the Bears, and they take Genty. Banks or Tet fall to the Bears slot, and the Bears, the Jags go there. We don't really know too much. The Jags kind of control the entire draft, at least 27 hours out. So again, tight end, tackle. If it's not one of those two, I guess it'd probably go edge rusher. I feel like Shamar is in play at that point. I love Jalen Walker. He's my favorite player in the draft. I think he's a top 5 player, no doubt, in this class. You do a million different things with him. I just don't know if that's the fit. And I also think he's a guy who could go 6. I think he's a guy who could very well go 8. Could be a trade-up candidate within Atlanta, a Tampa Bay, other teams of that nature. So I don't buy the Barron stuff. I don't really buy the Jalen Walker stuff as much as I'd love to come on here and be like, hey, I've been Jalen Walker's number 1 guy for 6 months now. Outside of that, again, I think the Jets have a possibility of maybe moving back a few slots if a team, wants to come up for Genty or wants to come up for Walker, Mason Graham, a Kelvin Banks maybe. We could see that on tomorrow night, but I think most likely outcome is Tyler Warren's a Jet, War Machine Warren. We get get the shirts going. I know we'll have something there, but look, I think end of the day, the Jets draft an offensive player, and Jets address some needs on day 2 and 3. They move around the board. They do what they got to do. This could be a really exciting weekend as a Jets fan. So again, only 6-7 minutes here. Some bets I like. Underdog promo code Badlands. Underdog fantasy, obviously, depending on what state you're in. If you can bet the draft, I would advise some bets. I think Warren or tight end as the Jets' first pick is good value. That to me is one that I think is still good value. Trevion Henderson at 20 to the Broncos, I believe would be very good value. Mason Graham as a Panther, I think would be good value. Armand Membu to the Raiders, Genty to the Jaguars, unless that's a total smokescreen. But again, could be decent value there. Michael Williams to the Saints would be someone I would be taking a look at. It feels like him or Jackson Dart's going 9, and feels pretty high for both guys, frankly. But it is what it is. The other one is, do the Rams get involved in the Colson Loveland sweepstakes, move up? They tried to move up for Bowers last year. Do they do the same this year? And again, Josh Simmons, where do him and Walter Nolan kind of shake out? 2 guys with question marks either on or off the field, but extremely talented, arguably the most talented at their respective positions. Again, I think Warren will be the pick. Been wrong before, but feel pretty good about Warren being the pick. Again, we'll have a full mock later this evening. Enjoy this quick 8 minutes. Appreciate it for listening. We'll talk to you guys soon.